Hey, good morning everybody. John Bergsma here, coming to you out of the Port of Holland on the west shore here in Lake Michigan. We're going to bring you some early season coho salmon. Now they're not gigantic fish, but the action is fast and the fish are fantastic and feisty. Stay tuned. Can you believe this? Anywhere in the world, this is world class. Well, we were just saying, normally you get a fish on the set right away in the morning, and Tony, we didn't say that, and Tony grabbed it and said, there it is. Might have shook off. Nope, just keep going. Okay. It's giving up a little bit. Oh yeah, I see it.
Nice, Tony.
Long leads. There we go, Ben.
Right.
Beautiful, beautiful little fish.
Yeah, no, it's a good sized coho.
Yeah, that's perfect. First coho of the day. We're out here today hunting for grillers. Early season, like we said at the top of the show, we're looking for these 4 or 5 pound coho. Fill the freezer. It's been a long winter, and this one cooperated immediately on the set, so we're going to get back down after them. Once we get back set, we'll talk to you how we're catching these fish today, but as you can see by that one, super long leaders off the divers.
Well, right now the coho are feeding on small shrimp. They're called mysis, and they tend to kind of set up along these temperature breaks, and right now the breaks have moved kind of offshore, so we're in 250 foot of water kind of working our way out, looking for breaks and looking for fish. So right now the water temp's 44.7, and we're going to try to work our way out and find some 43-degree water, and hopefully we'll find those fish kind of feeding along the surface and then down a little bit deeper on shrimp. So we've got spoons that kind of imitate bugs up on top, and then as we work down lower, we've got things that we've got some flies set that kind of look more like the shrimp. So that's kind of the set.
We're search moding right now, and the same rod's produced again, so either it's a zone thing or the fish are scattered. We're not quite sure. We've just been talking back and forth trying to figure out where the pod is, and I think sometimes Captain Mark just said to me, you know, you just got to circle around, you got to get in a typical good area, and then just kind of play the game of just looking. We got Captain Tony is helping us today, another good charter captain, so we've got competency on the net. Thank you, Tone.
Coho.
Another little coho. Mark, go ahead and talk to the people. That's a normal size, good eating fish here now in Lake Michigan?
Yeah, this is probably the best eating fish that you can catch out here in the spring.
And May, they're real plentiful in May. Is that a good time?
April and May. They start to move out in May.
Sure.
You know, by mid-May they're moving out deep.
So this is a great early season. Guys are sick of the winter. This is a late April. Get your boat out, get out here and fish type thing.
And it's relatively easy. You know, I mean, there's not a lot of deep stuff that you have to run early.
How far down do you think that plug or this rig that we're running is?
About 55 foot probably.
55 foot.
Yep.
Well, it's been the good one, so let's get it back.
Yeah,
in.
let's do that.
There you go.
This is a piece of herring. They come pre-cut. A couple different companies, Familiar Bite and Dreamweaver, both have pre-cut ones. You just put it. This is a herring head. You just put it in the head, and then pin it in with a pair of toothpicks. Break it off, and then you usually put the hook just so it can't cut into the back of the meat, so it just lays about like that. And then we take it, we'll let it out, and then we'll make sure that the head kind of has a slow roll to it out there. You don't want it to spin around like a top or just lay flat. It should just roll just slowly, and we'll set it out. The fishing really starts in April. We have a brown trout fishery that starts in April, and that usually gets mixed with coho by mid-April, and we're catching them kind of along the sandbars, along the beach. As the water warms, then the coho start to move out into the 100, 120 foot range, and then we start to warm up a little bit more into May, and the Chinooks start to show up. So about mid-May, usually the kings start to show up here. We fish those through June, and then lake trout fishery really picks up, and we generally target lake trout through mid-July, and then the kings show back up again, and we finish out the year in August and September fishing salmon. In Holland, we really don't have any major drop-off or bank like the ports like Manistee or Frankfurt have, so we fish mainly based on temperature. So we'll run out until we can find cold water. By cold water, I mean water that's cold near the bottom, and then that's generally where we'll start to fish, and then once we locate fish, we stay in that depth range.
Hey,
Nice fish.
That's a real nice fish, Mark.
I was going to change a pair of baits on a downrigger, and one thing that a lot of times we'll do is when you pop it, just trip the release and just slowly reel the slack up and let the spoons just kind of flutter their way up as you troll. And many times if there's a fish following it, it'll strike on the way up, so you just let it float for a while, and if you feel it strike, then just start reeling. Don't set the hook, just reel, and you'll bury those hooks in them. So another nice coho.
This segment is brought to you by Crestliner Boats, forged with strength, defined by durability. Additional considerations provided by TraxTech, the ultimate fishing system.
We basically just headed to Milwaukee. Now, we're still physically in sight of Holland, but we got into some warmer water than Mark was fishing yesterday, and so we just basically took it straight out, and he was in 240 yesterday. We're in what, 270? We're 270 right now. And
Yep.
Bang, a triple. We had 2 on the boards, and before we can even get the fish that are flopping in the corner of the boat to the live well, we've got a really nice one on here on the slide diver. And this is fish number 3 on this, and this is that herring rig. You know, the Port of Holland is a fantastic place for fishermen to come, especially recreational boat fishermen. You know, it offers a phenomenal charter captains association with lots of opportunities there, but this is a port that you can come out of and that you can usually fish within 10 to 15 miles, either north, south, or straight out of the Port of Holland and the main pier head here on Lake Makatawa. And you can usually all season long find really good sport fishing action, whether that's coho in the spring, kings and coho again in the fall along with kings, or lake trout all season long. Holland offers sport fishermen a fantastic opportunity to access big lake fish all season long. We just got to our spot where we had a triple, and we had almost immediately, we had no sooner got there, we made a quick turn and bam, fish. Tony just missed one on a slide spoon off the rigger.
Slider on the rigger.
Yeah, slider on the rigger. So yeah, there's obviously just a little group of fish right here in this area, and we're just gonna have to do a few figure-8 circles here, I think. Tell you what, I like how these new big boards track. They lock it down pretty good. There we go.
That right there is what the fish are feeding on right now. That's mysis
Yeah.
shrimp.
Really, just that little tiny thing. It's almost that stuff that gets on your downrigger.
Yeah, sea
Line.
fleas, but
Sea flues, the same type of thing. And that just came out of that fish we just caught. That is
fish
crazy.
was probably roughly about 60 foot down.
Yeah, exactly. So they're locating those groups of suspended shrimp, and they're just feeding on them.
And unless the shrimp are on the bottom and they're coming up after it. You know
Beautiful.
what I mean? It's hard to say exactly where they are.
Oh my goodness. I'll get the net. Nah, I'm good. That thing hit the slide. Oh yeah, Mark.
Nice work, man.
Now, what did you see? I mean, I saw the rigger just jumping and bouncing.
Right.
Is that
So-
the indication that it's on the slide?
Slider. Yep.
Exactly.
And that's why you didn't see, I didn't run up to it and
No.
pop it. I
You
reeled
reeled
all the
down.
tension out of it because that fish is pulling now. He's slid down to the cannonball and he's pulling on it. So
I'm with ya.
He's got tension on his mouth. So you want to minimize that time that you're going to be slack, reeling up.
Yeah, because I mean,
This
immediately that fish was out of the water the second he came free of the cannonball.
Right. So you got to be ready to just reel.
We just made it back to our numbers, literally, Mark, out here. How do you explain that, where you get on a set of numbers, fish after fish?
It's clearly just a pot of fish and they're feeding. So you just got to stick on them and work them and work them and work them.
And that's what we've done. You know, we trolled for about 2 miles with nothing, and now we've had we had a triple, and now we've pulled 4 fish on 4 passes doing the figure-8.
Yep.
Cool way to fish. Awesome fishing here out of Holland. Is this typical, Mark? Is this typical for May, and this is the type of thing you get, eater fish?
Oh yeah, and that's what we're targeting. You know.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, they're just excellent to eat. They're by far the best fish you're going to find in the Great Lakes to eat, and it's right now.
Perfect.
So,
Let's go get more of them. So one of the keys to catching fish today was integrating our system fishing philosophy into what we're doing. And what we did was we built our Trax rod holder system so that it would do anything and everything that I do throughout the year, whether it's walleye fishing or like today, silverfish fishing, salmon, or any type of, whether we're dead rigging for muskies, slow trolling for walleyes off the back with bottom bouncers. Our system of Trax downriggers helps us to be able to present our bait in all of those circumstances exactly properly. Today we're using the tree system with 3 up rod holders. That's what you see in the background there that's connected to the 3 offshore boards. We have the 2 down dipsies, and we're fishing those in the mid depths. And then I got my Trax downrigger here. And this is the auto up and down version where we have a target stop depth. You'll see it right there. And what's cool about this is that you can bring it up and you can also let it back down with one simple touch of the button. It goes back to a preset depth. So when you're busy like we've been today, you don't have to sit there and inch it down. You can just push the auto down button. Our target stop depth is 45 feet. Goes right there, it sets. You engage the bail, put your rod holder in, you're good to go. System fishing, it helps you catch more fish.
Additional considerations provided by DNR Sports Center. This segment is brought to you by Offshore Tackle.
Got it off there, Tone. We're trying when we just went down that track. Remember I said I'm going to take it right down that track where we had the triple? Boom, triple. There's another fish, inside board. That is crazy. We hit that track dead on, Tony, and we got another triple. Still there, Tone?
Yep.
Oh, that's a pretty fish right there. We're starting to lock in on him. We found a spot on the water we can catch him. I think our grilling is going to be done really well here today. Another really nice steelhead. I'll tell you what, he went crazy for a little while. The board jerked back and then he just swam right in it. Fooled me. I thought he was gone, and then got the board off, and all of a sudden he took off again. Yep, these are really, really fun fish to catch. They're even funner to eat, or more fun, whatever the correct word there is. But man, these are perfect sized fish. Perfect sized fish. Fish is running straight at you, Mark?
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
That was a fool you thing.
You get their mouth pin closed like that, they come right in.
Oh yeah, I see him. He is there. Now let's watch for the double because it's been happening. You know, Holland is unique to some ports in that you can come here during certain seasons and you can really get into what we did today, and that's silverfish fishing, coho salmon, sometimes smaller king salmon. You can target browns, and those three species are usually are really able to be caught right away as soon as the ice is gone or as soon as winter lets loose. Let's say early to mid-April. Once the weather turns and stabilizes into spring, those coho are right there. Sometimes they're as close as 5-6 miles to the pier head. Sometimes they're out like we were today, 15 miles, but we had slick, flat conditions and beautiful weather, and you can catch these cohos quick at this time of year. It's not one of those things where you got to go out and you got to slave all day and maybe get 2 or 3. As you saw today, we got 13. When my partner Mark was out pre-fishing, he got 13, and he was 13 for 21, so there's action. He had lots of hookups. That's typically the way it is in the spring, and the silverfish come back to the Port of Holland in the fall, and you can get them in the fall really well. Let's say middle of September, basically whenever the vacationers are here, you know, you got to go searching for them. But early in the season and again in the fall, these coho salmon are here, and they're here in abundance, and they're available to catch. Well, we're back here in Chef Grant's kitchen, and today we've got a really unique recipe, Grant. When Grant showed me this, I looked at it, but then after you taste it, you'll know why you want to try this recipe. What do we got today, Chef?
Well, we're going to do a Fiesta Salmon. So we're going to start out with a marinade of chili, pepper, garlic, salt, a little soy sauce, extra virgin olive oil. We're going to mix that all up together in a bowl. We're going to put the salmon in it face down and let it marinate for 30 minutes to an hour. You don't really need too much time for it to marinate because all those spices are so prominent that they're going to seep right into the salmon.
And this is the part I think is so critical, is turning that a few times, but keeping the open side down and the skin side up to really let it suck it.
Meat side down to let it all soak in
And then what are we going to serve that with?
We're gonna do a little vegetable medley of zucchini, squash, red pepper, red onion, and saute that up, and it's amazing paired together.
So basically, you're just going to saute those up in a regular pan, right, Grant?
Yeah, and you're gonna wanna do your vegetables first. You can cover them because they'll hold fine. You don't want to cover your fish after you cook it. You don't want to get mushy.
Exactly.
So we're gonna cook these up. And then once those are almost ready, that's the nice thing. You can just cover them up when they're almost ready, and they'll keep cooking in the steam.
Right, they'll finish, basically. Yep. Okay, we got the vegetables done. Grant, what do we have? The most important element here with cooking the salmon.
All right, the most important part is you have to cook all fish. I mean, pretty much every single situation, you have to cook fish the meat side down, skin side up first. That way, any flaw you might have in cooking, you can go through the skin, because you can cook the skin longer. It's not going to affect the flavor of the fish.
Right.
And
so you're saying is, if you for some reason flipped it early,
right, you can let it sit longer on the skin side, and it's not going to hurt the fish.
Sure, because you're not going to eat the skin anyway.
Yeah, if you have it sitting on the meat side down, then it's going to burn the fish.
I gotcha. Well, that salmon looks just fantastic. I love the colors. Is that partially because the marinade browns up?
Yep, it gets a little darker. Throw this in here.
Oh, those vegetables are just, sauteing vegetables to color are really an amazing way to eat.
And then we got our Spanish rice, the final ingredient.
And this Spanish rice, we've dolled up a little bit by cooking it with a can of diced tomatoes, and it really adds a lot of flavor, and it gives you, again, some contrast. Goes great with the fish.
And there we go.
Closed captioning provided by the Quality Inns of Escanaba, Manistee, and St. Ignace on US 2 in the eastern Upper Peninsula.